Hello, welcome. In previous TPS activity, we have written a program to determine if the entered number is prime number or not. Now today we are going to extend the same functionality or same activity to determine if the entered number is prime number or not, but in a different manner or a different approach. So today we are going to extend that previous activity further with a user defined functions approach. So whatever program we have written in previous activity, we are going to convert that program into something called as a user-defined function. So basically what is a function? A function is some entity that will accept some input, it will process that and it will generate some output. Now basically whatever programs that we can write using the normal approach all the programs can be converted into a user-defined approach, user-defined functions approach. Now for example, we are going to write a very simple program that will give you an idea of how to write user-defined functions. Now before going into the functions, let us have some theory about it. First we will say that functions can be classified into two categories, that is user-defined functions and predefined functions. Predefined functions like this one, printf. This printf function we directly use by including the header file stdio.h, and directly we can make use of printf function, and as we know whatever contents we write inside these double quotes are directly printed on the screen using printf function. So printf is nothing but a function that accepts the string inside the double quotes from the user, and this string will be printed in the output. So it gets some input, it will process that input and it will display it in the output. So in general, a function accepts some input, it will process some input and it will generate some result. So same thing we can have in a user defined function. See, printf is a predefined functions, and now what we are going to write is our own function in which we will define the name of the function, all the things we will define, and we will write the functionality of that function, how it will work, what is the behavior of that function, that we will decide. Okay, so this is a small example of small program that will give you an idea of how to write a user defined function. Now basically if you talk about a user defined function, then there are three important things necessary. First is declaration. Let us write it in terms of comments. Okay, so first is declaration. Second thing important is definition, and third important thing is function call. Okay, so now first thing first, that is declaration. So this declaration means we are going to declare a particular function. Now where this declaration comes, generally it will be just before the main function starts. So here this particular statement is nothing but a declaration. This is a declaration. Now if you look closely here, add here is a function name. Just like you can have the variable names, so you can have your own function name, it can be anything, that is your choice. Then inside the brackets you can have a number of input parameters. This is perfectly optional. If you don't provide any input, that is also okay. But see, this program, in this program I'm writing a user defined function to add the two numbers. So basically I require the two numbers. So these two numbers I am passing here as two integer parameters. So 1 and 2 separated by comma. So if your function requires multiple arguments, just separate them by comma. And these are called as arguments or parameters, and these will be input to the function add. Now after getting this input, I need to make the addition and return the result. return the result will be the addition. So that result will be returned. So this function add is going to have a int as a return type. So when I see a function like this, how I will interpret that? There will be a function having name add. It will accept two integer parameters and it will return one integer number. So that is how we declare this function. So we have made the declaration here. Now next thing is to write the definition. So either all the definition you can write before the main function, or you can just declare this before the main function, and later on after completing the main function you can write the definition of this function. Now in the definition we are going to write the actual behavior of the function. So the name add, it will accept two parameters. Mind you, here you have to write the names, or you can say the variables of the parameters here. So int x comma int y. So x and y will be the two numbers that we will pass to this add function. And what we have to do is we have to return the addition. So in this function body, I will write the functionality. That is, I have to do the addition of x and y, and whatever is the addition, I will use a return keyword. So whatever is the addition of these two numbers, that will be returned as the result of this function. So this function is accepting the input, it is processing the input, and it is returning the result. Okay, so this part is called as a definition of the function. Now once defined, now we are in a state to make use of this function. So where exactly we are going to make use of it? So let us see the main function. Main function, I am defining two variables of integer type a and b having values 5 and 10 respectively. I am having one more variable c. Now see here, this variable c is going to store the addition of a and b. Now for doing the addition of a and b, I am making use of this function add. Now whatever definition we have written here, whatever declaration we have done, we have to follow the strictly we have to follow that while making a function call. So this is nothing but a function call. So this function is going to get the two input integers a and b. As you can see here, two integer parameters are required, so I'm passing two integer parameters. So when I make a function call, then it will search whether there is some function defined in this program having name add, and directly from here it will go to this place where we will find the definition of this function add. So it will go inside it, it will process it. So whatever values I have defined a and b, those values will be respectively the values of x and y. So x will be 5 and y will be 10. So the result of that will be returned. So this function results in one integer value that is returned by this function, and that integer value, which is nothing but the addition of the two numbers, that will be stored in the variable c. Okay, so after getting this result in c, now using printf we are going to print the value of c, which is nothing but the returned number from this add function, that is nothing but the addition of a and b. So sum equal to the value of c. So if you try to execute this program, just try to run this program. Just wait while the program executes. Okay, so this output you can see sum equal to 15, which is nothing but the additions of 5 and 10, which is a and b, the numbers we have passed to this function, and according to the definition the return value will be the addition of these two that will be stored in c, and this value of c is being printed in the printf function. So this is how you can make use of user defined functions. So important thing here, this is a syntax of a user defined function: return type, function name, and a list of parameters separated by comma. These parameters are optional. Even if you don't have any parameters, you can just write the empty brackets there, function name and return type. Return type, in this case it is returning integer value, and in any other case it may return nothing also. In that case you can mention the return type as void. So this is how this is just the basic introduction of user defined functions. Now using this knowledge of user defined functions, you are going to write the same program, that is to determine whether the entered number is prime number or not. Make use of this user defined function approach and write the same program. Thank you very much.